mind. Person where they do evil, no one make person talk. Them say that Mayegun, that man too they talk. He too they talk. Say Mayegun diary, he they hot like pepper. But every day, then they take money in bulk. Woman picking, they the street they hawk. Still them talk say, make we no talk. But thank God say, Mayegun don't come. So my people make you laugh. Oh, yo, yo, Mayegun don't come. Oh, yo, yo. My people make you shout. Oh, yo, yo, Mayegun don't come.
Hello there.
Mayegun làwa mọ̀, làmọ̀ tó lódodo. Mayegun làwa mọ̀, làmọ̀ tó lódodo. Mayegun ti dé ọ̀rẹ́ aráyé. Lórí Facebook, lórí YouTube.
Good morning to you, good afternoon to you, and good evening to you from wherever you are watching from. It is Mayegun Live.
What did you say? Godfatherism, kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Mayegun.
Thank you so much for joining me from wherever you are watching from. Please take your time, read the caption of the broadcast, the description of this broadcast, hear it, like it. Invite your friends, invite your not so friendly friends, and tell them that Mayegun today, please read it.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ra kì í. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ra kì í. Àní ẹ̀sùn ra kì í. Lórí Facebook. Àní ẹ̀sùn ra kì í. Lórí YouTube. Àní ẹ̀sùn ra kì í.
Sheikh Osama bin Gumi has sent another warning, right? And that is, if Nigeria is not going to negotiate with the terrorists, then the kidnappings that you are witnessing right now is tip of the iceberg. Google it. You have an idea of tip of the iceberg. It's like an iceberg is deep in the water, but what you are seeing is just a tip of the head of it. Thank you very much, Cecilia. Today. So good morning to you once again, good afternoon to you, and good evening to you from wherever you are joining me from. It is Mayegun Live. The rider for this chart tonight is that of Sheikh Osama bin Gumi's warning that Nigeria, thinking that they could use force instead of negotiation with the terrorists that are kidnapping and killing Nigerians. Gumi said, the terrorists in Nigeria are easily accessible, which means if Nigerian governments are ready, if they are really ready to end terrorism in Nigeria, they must give the terrorists what they want. And Gumi says, is ready to lead that negotiation. Anything short of that, as all of us are asking the government to protect the people and never negotiate with a terrorist, but is the other way around. So Gumi says, if that is your solution, then you haven't seen anything yet. In his words.
I was in the military myself, but I don't think there's a military solution. In fact, I think it's humiliating military to think that military should take care of civilian insurgency. What we need is a very good detective work, very good policing, very good social programs. These are it. Leave our military off this issue. Our military, they know fire for fire. It's a question of firepower. And these people don't even have that firepower. They hide behind civilians and do whatever they do. So let us not humiliate and disgrace our military. This is not their job. Our job, this is the job of politicians, this is the job of the police, this is the job of the intelligence, so that we can see how we can come and mobilize ourselves to see how we can circumvent these people. It's very easy. From our estimation and statistics, we don't think there are more than 100,000 people in the bush, in the forest, holding on our jugular vein. We can do it, but not by kinetic means, by ways in which they can feel safe, as we want to be safe too.
He is the chief negotiator for terrorists in Nigeria. All right. And he is also their spokesperson too. But somehow, he is untouchable. At a point, Sheikh Osama bin Gumi, somebody said it's actually gloomy. It's not Gumi. I mean, it's not Gumi Mayego, it's gloomy. Anyway, Sheikh Osama bin Gumi was meeting with terrorists, telling them that he will convey their messages to those in government. And according to him, he said, what the terrorists are looking for is they are looking for the government support for their children to go to school. They want government to build them schools, build them hospitals and houses. That's what Gumi said they told him. And I am like, since this terrorism started and got the state backing under Bukwari in the last 8 years, these guys have made over $100 billion from terrorism alone. I know what I'm talking about too, where it has become an industry. Those who are supposed to discover an act of crime, terrorism, before they even happen, they are now businessmen who are cashing out on the security budget in Nigeria, while the terrorists continue to have a field day. Nigerians are just like games every year. I mean, every day, all year round. So do you want to say that if the terrorists, what they wanted was to have schools built for their children, how come they are destroying all schools in northern Nigeria to the point that more schools have been shut down to prevent attacks, which is also true? And that is why the number of out-of-school children in northern Nigeria and in Nigeria generally has skyrocketed. So if the terrorists are looking for education for their children, apart from burning down schools or threatening to kidnap the school children if you ever see them go to school, what happened to the money that they have made from terrorism in building themselves, schools for their children? I haven't seen them build anything from all of this money that they have been collecting from kidnapping Osama bin Gumi. So yes, that's why he said they want, you see, using the military, you're just sending your military to their death. According to him, as we said, these terrorists don't have anything to really lose. So instead of you going there to go and bomb them and all of that, they should send him. And in the absence of all of that, no wahala, continue to send the military after them, and they will continue to kill you and kidnap you. That's the message. In fact, it is a warning. And it's not the first time. No, that's not the first time. In fact, Gumi is more upset that he's giving Nigeria way out of this act of terrorism. And Nigerian criminal politicians are not taking it, according to him. The solution is not you buying weapons. He said it many times. Because the terrorists are so bold that even the Nigeria military, they have to run for their lives when these terrorists show up. So Gumi is offering Nigeria easy way out. And that easy way out is for Nigeria to negotiate with the terrorists. Well, for those ones who first came, they said they needed land. They said the reason why they are kidnapping and killing people was because they do not have land to, sort of rear their cows. And, Nigerians don't want to give them land. Nobody want to give them land, he said. So government for the act of terror in Nigeria to stop, the government must give them land. And for 8 years, Bokwari tried. The northern part of Nigeria has the over 70% of the entire land mass in Nigeria. The eastern part of Nigeria have the smallest. But guess what? The northern politicians who are buying weapons for these terrorists, telling them where to go to, and telling the military where not to go to. Where the terrorists they are operating, the Nigerian military won't go there, because those who pay the military or those who control the military are the same people who also buy guns for the terrorists. Sure you get. So they'll tell them where to go to. Now you go to this side today, the military won't come there, okay? And you can go to the left that side tomorrow, the military won't come there. For 8 solid years, Bokwari couldn't get them land, like I said. And Sheikh Osama bin Gumi said he was always upset that this is the way out. Give them the land, build schools for them, build hospitals for them, and then you will have peace. How? Even those of you will be Nigerians, they haven't built schools for your children. They have not built hospitals for you and your children. But yes, it's part of the negotiation. But Bokwari couldn't do it. So, according to Sheikh Osama bin Gumi, the reason why this insecurity is back is because those in charge of Nigeria are still saying they will pay nothing and they will negotiate nothing. Meanwhile, they do pay and they do negotiate. But without Gumi, then maybe they are just negotiating with the wrong people. So the highlight of that message is that try all you can, do all you can. The terrorism will not go anywhere until you give them what they want. And for those of you who are from other part of the southern part of Nigeria, but there's actually something I was going to say earlier, and I'm going to finish it, okay? So, like I said, the northern part of Nigeria controls over 70% of the land mass in Nigeria. And for 8 years under Bokwari, there is no single one of these northern states. Okay, I'm sorry. The middle belt part of Nigeria is actually the biggest part of Nigeria, but they always love to add them to the northern Nigeria and say the northern part of Nigeria, the southern part of Nigeria. So the middle belters are already saying they are not northern Nigeria, which is true. They are not northern Nigeria. But still, right, the Sharia states, the Sahel states, where the terrorist Fulani criminal politicians sort of hold sway, not a single one of them, out of all the trillions that Bokwari printed and they shared, not a single one of them built any prototype of what the Ruga they are asking the people of southern Nigeria to give their land for, the people of Middle Belt to give their land for, right? We have not seen one single Fulani state in northern Nigeria build a Ruga successfully and resettle these Fulani terrorists, Fulani herdsmen in those Ruga settlements, okay? We haven't seen a single one for 8 years, not a single one. And here we are, Sheikh Osama bin Gumi, for those 8 years, I promise you that 7 out of those 8 years, Gumi was asking that for peace to reign in Nigeria, people must give their land. Government must build schools for the terrorists. They must build hospitals for their children and all that. For 8 years, he said that. But there is no single one northern state that can show to us that they built successfully schools, hospitals, houses for the Fulani or Fulani artsmen, ranches, and all of that. Not a single one. But every AK day, every 5 market days, we need for peace to reign in Nigeria. The government must try and do something and build the Ruga to resettle all these Fulani for farmers others clashes. Farmers other clashes, ladies and gentlemen. But now only farmers they die. We know they see the others. We clash with the farmers. So we all know that it is not about the land up north. It is the rest of what is today's called Nigeria that they will love to systematically take away from the real indigenous people. Where people won't want to easily give those lands, they will be killed, massacred, genocide. All of that stuff are all going to be covered by have been covered severally anyway by the establishment. Okay, so not a single northern state has built any successful Ruga. Not a single Sharia North has successfully built a community called the Resettlement for the Fulani Artsmen. Not a single one. But every AK day, like I said, every 5 market days, for peace to reign in Nigeria, we need to accommodate the Fulani herdsmen. For farmers others to stop in Nigeria, for peace to reign in Nigeria, for this and that. Now the terrorists, they give us conditions. Terrorists are those giving us conditions. For peace to reign in your land, these are the conditions. If you want peace, if you want to be able to go to your farms, right? Here are the conditions. We'll give you these conditions. Take these conditions. No negotiation, no peace. Do you understand that? So, but people have remained very, very consistent. That is one message that has never been able to sway the people among so many threats that we receive every now and then, right? In fact, it has been encouraging more and more people to agree with us that for us to escape whatever ethnic cleansing planned against most of us in the southern part of Nigeria, like the people of the middle belt part of Nigeria that have been fighting these religious terrorists from the Sahel, from the Sharia North, from that the Ashokoto Caliphate, where is the origin of the terrorists that are using religion under different disguises, okay, to try to want to either cower us and force us to bend the knee, or they will kill us if we choose not to. The people of Middle Belt of Nigeria have been taking the bullet. They have been bleeding for the rest of the South, but that has never really saved us in the South. It has only reduced, the impact of that terrorism on us, you will say. Okay? So the people of the Middle Belt part of Nigeria have been fighting not to leave their land or cede their land, but they are fighting terrorists who are the armed terrorists. They are also fighting the terrorists who are their sponsors in government. The terrorists in government continue to do everything within their power to make sure that every land conquered or destroyed by the Fulani terrorists or Fulani invaders, right? And the people have been the survivors have been chased away to refugee camps all over the country. They have been doing their best to make sure that those people will never come back to those areas by renaming them. Imagine your government renaming your town, renaming your community after the tragedy, because majority of you have been killed. Others have run away, and they will never want to return to that place again. The scenes where terrorism have been taking place in Nigeria, most of them are scenes, like crime scenes that the criminals, the terrorists, in fact, after killing people, they remain there. We have evidence of all of that, especially in Kaduna. You get that? So there is a systemic collaboration with that. And with the terrorists, there are cover-up, there are conspiracies all over around this. But above it all, people's lives have been played, gambled, and every day they continue to take those lives. But yet they still give us conditions for peace. Do you want peace? Or do you want to continue to complain? A lot of people have decided that, you know what? There's nothing like peace with your killers. You don't make peace with your killers. If you can no longer sort of fight or defend yourself against your killers instead of accepting the conditions that says learn how to live with your killers. No, you don't have to learn how to live with your killers. You can actually leave the union that brought your killers, or the union that says your killers could live next to you. You can leave that union if you love your life. And that's why a lot of us have continued to propagate and advocate, enlighten and educate people on why the conversation around the breakup of Nigeria has never been more important than now. Now, if you continue to shy away from it, there will be more evidence to remind you that. Okay? And Mayegu, myself, I will always be here to show it to you. Okay? So when terrorist says it's either my way or the highway, the best thing is to also set your own rule and put your foot on the ground and say no. Unfortunately, we have weak men from southern part of Nigeria who are more interested in the immediate gain, immediate benefit, immediate gratification that they can get from this, even if their people have to bleed. Bleed, I mean, like bleed to death. As long as they can get their own little gratification or little reward right now, most of it, money, they can look away, or they can play the devil's advocate by telling you that you are only overreacting, you are acting paranoia. Yet you are not, because if it's they say if it looks like a dog, like if it walks like a dog and it quacks like a dog, definitely it's a dog. In a country where they are telling you to learn how to live with your own killers, that is a country where you are only waiting to die. And I don't think that should be something that shouldn't be a destiny anybody should settle down for, right? So, Sheikh Osama bin Gumi, the only reason why Gumi will say there will be no peace if terrorists are not negotiated with is because Nigeria currently still exists. When Nigeria ceases to exist, Gumi will dare not look into the media and tell you that no matter what you do, because he is right. I swear he's right. The negotiation part of it is it's called negotiation for peace of the graveyard. Here you get now. He is right. If you want any peace in Nigeria, the Fulani terrorists would have to control the narrative. You have to give them what they want every time they ask for it. You have to. Maybe you want peace. Oh yeah, now they need your land. Just small one, small space, small land. Then before you know it, they will say, some of you, your behavior are not like them. Your behavior is haram. The way you are doing your things, how can you know that, they are Fulanis, we are Fulanis, we don't behave like that. And that is why we would rather have our own local government. We don't want to be part of all these people. Because all this money, all this allocation, you are supposed to give us our own. And so it goes start. Fulani Yoruba, Fulani Igbo, Fulani this, Fulani that. That conversation you don't want to have is simply because somehow you are scared. You are scared. It's fear. And we can do away and never hear from people like Sheikh Osama bin Gumi in anywhere near Yoruba nation. Trust me, a sovereign Yoruba nation will never give room to somebody like this to have the audacity to say the lives of millions of Yorubas depends on agreeing to the conditions of terrorists whose only business and job is to act of terrorism is to kill you. That will never happen. And people like this and many more like him and those rogues in your government will continue to make it more relevant and very important that except Nigeria break up. Trust me. We can all continue to live with or endure people like Osama bin Gumi. Do you understand that? Yes, because of Nigeria. And I hope you won't be a victim before you even understand this. Here is what Kolu had to say when he met with state governors. So they said Kolu called the state governors for Ramadan. Ramadan Karim, by the way, to all of you who are fasting. I don't know how to say that in English, but they will say Ramadan Kareem. Emiyashika, well, even though to some of you, Ramadan don't meet Ramadan don't meet fasting for ground already. Before Ramadan came, people don't they do the one we say na shege Ramadan, but Emiya Shikai. So Tinubu called state governors to tell them that, oh, listen, guys, politics is over. I need your help to build Nigeria. Mr. Strategist, they now need the help of, okay, well, we all need help anyway. But you should know it is not any help from anywhere. Tinubu possibly does not know that he is your president. And most of the time, they need to remind him. And every time they remind him, seems to be day one for him. And that is why when Tinubu speaks, he speaks to the future. Pretty much like, you know what? We will. Oh, I want all of you to remember, that our people are hungry. And I need your help to know that as your president, I want you to I need you to help the people. Because I heard that people are so hungry. So we must make sure that people are not hungry. We must make sure that it's like somebody who is like just aware, snatch it, grab it, run with it. There's something in it, okay? So I'm going to play that for you. But there is a warning I have to give. When you listen to Tinubu, they make any sense. So they talk like person we mad new. And I have to say this to you. It's incoherent and it could go from left to back instead of right and all of that stuff. So please do not raise your hope or expectation thinking he has something to say. The entire room is filled with hypocrites, eye service, all these praise singers, court jesters, and all the clappers. I just want it to be on record. All right. So if you don't mind, let's go to that place when he met with them. And they are there asking Allah, look into this month of Ramadan. This month of Ramadan, all the problem of Nigeria, we have to put it in front of Allah in this month of Ramadan. I won't weary.
Your Excellency, it is a very great honor for me to have you here to share the breaking of the fast with us. I thank you very much for responding positively to the call. And what I just need to see and push for is the promotion of the message of this month of Ramadan. And coincidentally, to the Christian community of faith, where in Lenten season, the overlapping period is very valuable to all of us. I wish to utilize it to pray more for our country and be good to one another and our neighbors. I didn't see Governor eating at all. Ebony, did you eat? So I was looking at you from there. I didn't see the movement of your hands. To all of us, I just need to say again, since we recognize the need to build the nation together, the politics aspect of it is over. The time for governance is now. And we are brothers and sisters of each other. We have no choice. We are of the same family, parents, and living in the same house, but sleeping in different rooms. We have no choice but commingle, correlate, and spread love among each other. That will be my sermon. Apology to Imam. I'm glad that the headwind pushing us back is almost over. The tunnel is not as dark as when we started. It's getting clearer. And it's going to be brighter and brighter. In the name of Allah. So, the capacity to work with each other, to communicate and share joy is what I will continue to preach about. Thank you for having the food. The limitation of the economy will not prevent us from sharing whatever little we have. May God continue to bless you and bless the country.
Nuisance lele.